After 3 years of marriage, I had become the laughingstock of the wealthy elite. When my cold CEO wife, Liu Ruyan, flicked a divorce agreement toward me, I remained calm on the surface, but inside I was ecstatic. Great, I'll take the compensation and go to Dali to live a quiet life. Who would want to keep living these days of being a punching bag? But the moment I was about to sign, she suddenly ripped the agreement to shreds. I'm not getting divorced anymore. I froze on the spot, completely unaware that she could hear every single one of my thoughts. You stupid woman. Your white moonlight, first love, is a total hypocrite. He's just waiting to swallow your assets and ruin your whole family. Divorce me already. Every second you delay is time taken away from my peaceful life in Dali. I watched as her face turned from icy cold to livid, and the look she gave me was filled with a complexity I had never seen before. In the living room of the high-end villa, the air was as cold as ice. On the expensive leather sofa, Liu Ruyan pushed a divorce agreement in front of me. Her voice was just like her, devoid of any warmth. Sign it. The apartment in the west of the city and your Audi A6 will be yours. Additionally, I'll transfer $5 million to your card. She spoke indifferently, as if she were brushing off an insignificant person. I looked up at the woman who had been my legal wife for 3 years. Today, she was still beautiful, her slender figure highlighted by a high-end professional suit, but her exquisitely made-up face was full of detachment. I picked up the fountain pen. It felt cold in my hand. Good. Very good. I finally waited for this day. Divorce. Let's do it now. I've had enough of being the punching bag of this wealthy family. $5 million plus a house and a car is enough for me to live comfortably in Dali. I'll find a wife who is warm, obedient, and sensible. A heavenly life awaits me. A crystal-clear voice, filled with ecstasy and relief, rang out without warning in Liu Ruyan's head. She was startled. Who is talking? In this huge living room, there was no one but her and me. But I hadn't said a word. My face even carried a hint of loneliness. Liu Ruyan frowned slightly. Am I hallucinating because of the pressure lately? Nah. She was about to urge me to hurry when I unscrewed the pen cap, ready to sign. The moment the nib touched the paper, memories of my past life flooded back like a tide. In that life, I had signed this same agreement and left with nothing, thinking it was freedom. But in less than a year, her true love, that beast of a white moonlight, revealed his fangs. He used every means to hollow out the Liu group. The family went bankrupt, and Liu Ruyan's end was tragic. Even I, the non-threatening ex-husband, couldn't escape his revenge and died a violent death on the streets. Since I've been reborn, I just want to escape this whirlpool. I must sign. Signing even a second late is an insult to my great future life. This stupid woman, Liu Ruyan, actually thinks that beast is a pure white lotus. She's being played like a fool. Just you wait. This ship is about to be sunk by him. When he sells you out, you'll probably be happily counting the money for him. Beast? Liu family bankrupt? Sold out and counting money for him? A series of revelations exploded in Liu Ruyan's mind like thunder. She stared intensely at me. My face was calm, but the voice in my head was like a frantic bullet chat commentary, vicious and arrogant. Seeing my pen about to finish the final stroke, a terrifying thought made Liu Ruyan shudder. No, I can't let him sign. Wait! Liu Ruyan suddenly reached out and grabbed my wrist. I stopped and looked at her in confusion. Under my bewildered gaze, she snatched the agreement and tore it into pieces. The scraps fell like snow. She took a deep breath, trying her best to make her voice sound steady. I'm not divorcing anymore. The living room fell into a terrifying silence. I was petrified. The pen clattered to the floor. The script wasn't written this way. What is this woman freaking out about? What about the divorce? What about my $5 million? My life in Dali? My obedient little wife? Did my rebirth cause some unknown butterfly effect? Hearing the mental breakdown and seeing my seen a ghost expression, Liu Ruyan felt an unprecedented sense of calm. She didn't know why this was happening, but she decided that until she figured everything out, this divorce was off the table. Liu Ruyan didn't sleep all night. The crystal chandelier on the ceiling reflected no light in the darkness, mirroring her chaotic heart. The wild, unbridled thoughts of mine clashed with her 3-year impression of me as a useless loser, giving her a splitting headache. The beast is a liar? The Liu family will go bankrupt? The information was too shocking, but my expression of shock yesterday seemed real. She had to verify it. The atmosphere in the dining room the next morning was even weirder. I kept my head down, eating porridge and ignoring her as if she were air. I just want to stay quiet until this woman calms down and puts the divorce back on the schedule. Liu Ruyan put down her milk and spoke casually. By the way, asked me to go to a charity gala tonight. My hand holding the spoon paused for a moment before returning to normal. I gave a flat but internally, the bullet chat was screaming. Here it comes! The classic act. The self-cultivation of a white lotus, charity gala edition. It's the Angel Orphanage. Script again, right? That hypocrite will give a moving speech and announce a 500,000 donation in Liu Ruyan's name to get a good reputation. In reality, he won't pay a cent. He'll make Ruyan pay for it. Not only that, he'll take a kickback from the orphanage's inflated funds. He gets the money and the glory while Liu Ruyan is just a walking ATM. She's been sold and she's still moved to tears. Beyond stupid. Liu Ruyan's hand tightened around her cup. She remembered the Angel Orphanage. He had mentioned the children there were pitiful. She didn't show any emotion on her face, but she quickly texted her assistant, immediately audit all accounts of the Angel Orphanage from the last 3 years and all financial transactions between them and the antagonist. I want every detail. Just then, my phone vibrated. I glanced at the caller ID, frowned and hung up. It's those guys again. All they think about is clubs and models. Asking me to go, have some fun. Screw that. I just want to make money and retire in Dolly. I don't have time to waste with those useless eaters. Liu Ruyan's gaze fell on my phone. She reached out and took it. Before I could react, she swiped the screen. I didn't have a password. A WeChat message was visible. Brother Mo, same place tonight? We found some new college students for you. Come out and have some fun. The content matched exactly what she had just heard in my mind. Liu Ruyan's heart skipped a beat. It's all true. She threw the phone back, said nothing, and left. The sound of her high heels was sharp and determined. I watched her go, confused. What is her problem today? Grabbing my phone just to see that? At 7 p.m. at the Starlight Charity Gala, Liu Ruyan walked in with her arm in mine. She was the famous ice flower of the business world. And I was, in everyone's eyes, just the soft rice husband who relied on his wife. The antagonist, dressed in a white suit, approached with a smile. A flash of disdain appeared in his eyes when he saw me. Ruyan, you're here. His voice was sickeningly sweet. This is my husband, Lin Feng, she said flatly, pulling her hand back. I was happy to be left alone and went to the buffet to eat lobster. This lobster is fresh. Since Ruyan is paying, I might as well eat. It'll be a good snack while I watch the show. Liu Ruyan's lip twitched almost imperceptibly. Soon, the antagonist went on stage. His speech about love and sacrifice moved many. Looking at Liu Ruyan, he said, I have decided to donate 500,000 to the Angel Orphanage in the name of my dearest friend, Miss Liu Ruyan. The audience erupted in applause. The antagonist waited for her to look moved and admiring as usual. However, she just stood there. During a gap in the applause, she picked up a microphone. Mr. Antagonist is truly a great philanthropist, she said. His smile widened, but her next words were like ice water. However, I just heard that the 300,000 you promised to the South City Primary School last year hasn't reached their account yet. Is it a bank error, or is a 1-year delay normal? The room went dead silent. The antagonist froze, his face turning pale. The next morning, the fallout hit the Liu villa. Liu Ruyan's mother, Zhao Lihua, and brother Liu Chen were furious. Are you crazy? You embarrassed the antagonist in public for this loser. You've humiliated our family. Liu Chen pointed at me. It's because of this parasite. Ruyan, divorce him and apologize to the antagonist. I didn't even look up from my phone. Here it comes. The classic wealthy family drama. Everyone but me is a fool. Yes, it's all my fault. Please, kick me out now so I can go to Dali earlier. My dead pig doesn't fear boiling water. Attitude enraged Liu Chen. Lin Feng, you parasite. We've supported you for 3 years and you still have the face to stay here? Looking coldly at her mother and brother, Her gaze held a determination they had never seen before. "Lin Feng is my husband. It is not your place to dictate terms here." Zhao Liwa and Liu Chen were stunned, as if they were meeting their daughter for the first time. As for the antagonist, Liu Ruyan's voice wasn't loud, but every word was clear. "I know exactly what kind of person he is. From now on, none of you are allowed to mention him again." After speaking, she directly issued an ultimatum. "If you came here to plead for him, you can leave now." I finally looked up from my phone screen, my face a picture of utter disbelief. Did she get the wrong script? This woman is actually defending me? Has the sun risen from the west? What is she up to? Is she trying to steady me first so she can find a more ruthless way to make me leave with nothing? Truly, the most poisonous heart belongs to a woman. Zhao Liwa and Liu Chen were so choked up they couldn't speak for a long time. Finally, they could only slam the door and leave in a huff. In the massive living room, only Liu Ruyan and I remained. The atmosphere was suddenly subtle. Liu Ruyan's defense wasn't entirely because of those strange inner voices. When Liu Chen's insults were aimed at me, images she had deliberately forgotten rushed into her mind. Once, when her stomach ailment flared up and she couldn't sleep all night, the next morning, a bowl of warm millet porridge appeared on the dining table. When I brought it over, she only coldly said, "I'm not eating." She had once mentioned in passing while looking at a magazine that she liked the style of a niche painter. Later, she found 2 tickets to that painter's exhibition in a corner of the study, dated on her birthday, the day she was vacationing abroad with the antagonist. And during those uncomfortable days every month, a cup of brown sugar water and a charged hot water bottle would always silently appear by her bedside. She had always thought the nanny prepared them and never cared. These details, which she had taken for granted or even looked down upon, now felt like fine needles pricking her heart. It turned out she was the stupid one who was favored but acted without fear. When I got home that evening, I smelled a strong, burnt scent. I walked into the dining room and froze on the spot. Liu Ruyan, wearing loungewear, was somewhat nervously placing a plate of blackened objects in front of me. "I made this. Try it." I looked at the almost carbonized object on the plate, which no longer had its original shape, and fell into a long silence. My God, is this a fossil freshly dug out of a volcano? This thing is a steak? If you told me it was the face of Judge Bao, I'd believe you. Is she trying to poison me to inherit my credit card debt? No, things with the antagonist have fallen through. She has no reason to kill me. Could she want me to get food poisoning so she can delay the divorce in the name of taking care of me? What a bitter meat tactic. Ruthless! My mind was racing like 10,000 horses, but my face remained as calm as an ancient well. Under Liu Ruyan's expectant and nervous gaze, I picked up the knife and fork, used all my strength to cut a small piece of that fossil, and painfully put it in my mouth. The texture was hard, the taste indescribable. I chewed without changing my expression and swallowed. Seeing that I ate it, a spark actually flashed in Liu Ruyan's eyes, mixed with guilt and a joy she hadn't noticed herself. I was creeped out by this series of actions. That night, lying on the 2-meter-wide bed, I stuck to the very edge, wishing I could be 800 meters away from her in the middle. This woman definitely has a problem. Defending me by day, attempting to poison me by night. This mental state is too unstable. Could she be possessed by something unclean? Yes, that must be it. The feng shui of this villa is definitely wrong. Too much yin energy. No, I must find time to go to Longquan Temple tomorrow to get a peace talisman. If all else fails, I'll need some black dog blood to sprinkle around. While I was overthinking, Liu Ruyan suddenly turned over and an arm rested over me unconsciously. My whole body stiffened like I'd been electrocuted. I almost bounced off the bed. In the darkness, I could even hear my own violent heartbeat. Just then, I heard her make a very faint sound, with a hint of dreamlike softness. "Lin Feng!" A frantic phone call instantly shattered the newly softened atmosphere in the villa. Old Master Liu, the stabilizing anchor of the Liu group, had a sudden myocardial infarction and was hospitalized in critical condition. Liu Ruyan turned pale, grabbed her car keys, and rushed out. I sat on the sofa without moving, but a flash of indiscernible complex emotion crossed my eyes. What was meant to come has finally arrived. In the corridor outside the VIP ward of the Central Hospital, the atmosphere was so heavy you could wring water out of it. Liu Ruyan's mother, Xiao Lihua, was wiping tears. Her brother, Liao Chen, paced irritably. The antagonist, in a well-fitted suit, was comforting them with a face full of concern. Serving tea, fetching water, and contacting doctors, he acted more devoted than the Liu family's own son. "Ruyan, don't worry, I've contacted Director Wang. He's an authority in this field. Grandpa will be fine." He stepped forward, his voice gentle and his gaze reliable. When Liu Chen saw me following behind, he immediately flared up. "What are you doing here? We don't need a loser like you." I didn't bother with him. Found a chair in the corner, sat down, and pulled out my phone as if playing a game. Keep acting. This dog, antagonist, should have gone for an Oscar. What a waste. In my past life. It was this Director Wang who recommended the so-called overseas miracle drug that caused Grandpa's condition to plummet, eventually leading to his death. A perfect medical accident that no one could trace. Afterward, he hypocritically helped with the funeral while devouring the Liu family's assets bit by bit. What a calculation. Liu Ruyan was about to tell me not to cause trouble, but the bullet comments exploding in her mind made her stiffen. Her blood ran cold. She suddenly looked at the antagonist, who was whispering to a doctor in a white coat at the end of the hall, still wearing that compassionate expression. But in her eyes, that handsome face now felt indescribably sinister. Her heart was in total chaos. On one side was the antagonist, praised by the family and doctors alike, the perfect man she once trusted implicitly. On the other side was the husband she had loathed for 3 years. Me, someone with bizarre behavior, but whose every inner warning had come true with precision. Who to believe? The stake of this gamble was the life of the grandfather she respected most. Before long, Director Wang walked over with a syringe, a professional smile on his face. "Good news. Through special channels, we've obtained a dose of a miracle drug shipped from overseas. Once injected, the old master's condition will stabilize quickly." The antagonist immediately echoed, "That's great. Thank you for your hard work, Director Wang. Money is no object as long as we can save Grandpa." Zhao Liwa and Liu Chen were overjoyed, thanking him repeatedly and urging the doctor to use the medicine immediately. A soft shout broke the silence. Liu Ruyan rushed to the bedside, spreading her arms to protect Grandpa, staring at Director Wang with eyes full of determination. The entire corridor instantly fell into a deathly silence. "Are you crazy?" The antagonist was the first to react, his face full of shock and pain. "This is saving Grandpa's life. Have you been bewitched by that loser Lin Feng?" Liu Chen stomped his feet. "Move! Can you take responsibility if the treatment is delayed?" For a moment, everyone's accusations were like sharp arrows aimed at her. Her face was pale and her body shook, but she didn't yield. She just turned and, with all her strength, looked at the man in the corner who had remained indifferent. I finally put my phone away, stood up, and strolled over. I didn't look at anyone, just calmly said to Director Wang, "Dr. Wang, this drug called Proye, which is labeled as a miracle drug, the manual clearly states it is prohibited for patients with severe arrhythmia, as it will trigger acute heart failure. If I remember correctly, the arrhythmia section on Grandpa's medical record is marked in red, isn't it?" Director Wang's face changed instantly. I didn't give him a chance to defend himself and continued, "I just took Grandpa's medical records and the ingredients of this drug and sent them anonymously to the international cardiovascular expert, Professor Philip. He replied to the email half a minute ago saying that if this drug is used, the patient won't survive the night." I shook my phone screen, showing an email in English with the conclusion part enlarged. As if remembering something, I looked at the antagonist, whose face was already as pale as a dead man's, and curled my lips into a mocking arc. I also found out that the only domestic agent for this drug seems to be a newly registered shell company owned by your cousin. What a coincidence. The truth was out. I tore the plot of the antagonist and Dr. Wang to shreds in public in the most brutal way. Liu Chen and Zhao Lihua were dumbfounded, looking from the antagonist to me, their brains completely crashing. Liu Ruyan stared blankly at my profile. Amidst the questioning and insults of everyone, I stood like a mountain between her and Grandpa. That defense line in her heart that had been solid for 3 years collapsed at this moment, turning into powder. After doing all this, as if I had completed a trivial task, I yawned and sat back on the chair in the corner. Done. Mission accomplished. Damn, this delayed my sleep. When will this nonsense end? My Dali, my quiet life. Hearing these still unreliable thoughts, her eyes inexplicably turned red. After the hospital incident, the atmosphere at the Liu Villa became weirdly quiet. Zhao Lihua and Liu Chen had been slapped hard by reality and didn't dare mention the antagonist again. Their gaze toward me changed from disdain to fear and complexity, and they hid in their rooms all day. That night, after my shower, I was planning which restaurant to visit tomorrow when Liu Ruyan walked up to me with a glass of warm water. She was wearing simple home clothes, having shed all her usual coldness and defensiveness. She stood there silently for a long time, then took a deep breath and bowed deeply to me. I am sorry. She spoke these words clearly and forcefully, with long suppressed guilt. For the past 3 years, I was wrong. My hand, using a towel to dry my hair, stopped in midair. I was stunned. Apologizing? A 90-degree bow? Has the sun risen from the west, or has this woman researched a new tactic? Courtesy before the attack, right? Using sugar-coated bullets to erode my revolutionary will and tie me to the sinking ship of the Liu family forever so I can be her free bodyguard? Dream on! Liu Ruyan did not look up. Listening to my wild inner complaints, she felt a surge of bitterness, but it only made her more determined. She straightened up, her eyes bright with unprecedented clarity and resolve. The antagonist and Director Wang have been taken away by the police, but this won't end so simply. He planted more than just himself in the Liu group. Grandpa's work and the foundation of the Liu family are now in jeopardy. She paused, her voice even carrying a hint of a plea. Lin Feng, please help me. I was silent. Looking at her, I had to admit that after shedding her brainless-in-love persona, she really looked like an heir. Help her? Then won't I be sucked back into this messy power struggle? Dali, my mountains and lakes, my quiet life. But the old man was a good person. Watching the Liu family get destroyed by that bastard the antagonist seems a bit wrong. Damn it, how annoying. The internal struggle lasted only a few seconds. I threw the towel on the sofa and looked up with a seriousness she had never seen. Fine. Her eyes lit up instantly. But I have conditions, I said calmly. When this is over, we must divorce. I won't take a single cent of the Liu family's assets. The light in her eyes dimmed instantly, and her heart felt squeezed with a fine pain. She should have expected it, but hearing it was still hard. She lowered her eyes, hid her emotions, and nodded. Okay. The next day, the study became a temporary war room. I sank into the sofa, legs crossed, casually scrolling through my phone, looking more relaxed than if I were in my own home. Liu Ruyan sat behind the desk with financial reports spread out, looking focused. The antagonist's core business, Yaoxing Technology, has been pushing a VR project lately, seeking investment everywhere. He talks big, but it's an empty shell. The core technology is all scraps bought from discarded foreign projects. He relies on his mouth and persona to scam investors. Liu Ruyan's pen circled the words Yaoxing Technology heavily. First, find a few trustworthy investment firms to pose as overseas hot money and show interest in his project. Drive the price up and bait him. When he embezzles public funds and maximizes his leverage to put everything in, coordinate with the companies he scammed before to pull the rug out. Then, the banks and creditors will tear him to pieces. In my mind, I had already written the script, even imagining him crying after bankruptcy, and I couldn't help but grin. Listening to my detailed and devious plan, she called her assistant. Notify President Wang of Tiansheng Capital. Tell him I have a sum of overseas funds interested in Yao King's VR project and want to talk. Her voice was calm and decisive. Every instruction perfectly matched my inner thoughts. I paused my scrolling and glanced at her, a flash of surprise in my eyes. Over the next few days, a strange, tacit understanding formed. I remained the idle bum, outputting wild thoughts in my head, while she acted as the ultimate executor, laying out every idea perfectly in reality. The antagonist took the bait. He thought he was playing on her guilt, but was blinded by the illusion of overseas money, stepping into the trap. Late one night, only the sound of typing remained. I stared at the data on the screen, my brow furrowing slightly. Damn, the antagonist is tougher than I thought. He actually has a reserve fund? Where did he get it? This is a bit of a problem. While I was frustrated, she spoke without looking up. I checked. 3 days ago, he mortgaged his mother's property and got a $50 million bridge loan from an underground bank. Here is the contract. She pushed a document toward me. I froze completely. I slowly turned my head to look at her focused profile, a storm brewing in my heart. How did she know? I didn't say anything. A coincidence? I remained calm and thought to myself, I've pulled all-nighters for days. My neck is so stiff. I really wish someone would massage it. The next second, she stopped working, stood up, walked behind me, and placed her hands on my shoulders, massaging them with perfect pressure, accurately relieving my pain. I was like someone who had been paralyzed, unable to move. Holy crap, holy crap, holy crap. Alarm bells are ringing. A ridiculous and terrifying thought is popping up. To test this, I took a deep breath and screamed in my head, I'm so thirsty. I want an ice-cold Coke with ice cubes. Her hands paused for a moment. Then, without a word, she walked out. A minute later, she returned with a glass of ice-cold Coke bubbling under the light. Clink! The glass was placed on the table next to my hand. I stared at that Coke, feeling a chill run from my feet to the top of my head. The Liu Group's annual gala was magnificent. Halfway through, an uninvited guest appeared. The antagonist, in a suit but looking sickly pale and crazed, rushed to the podium with 2 lawyers. Everyone, he grabbed the mic, his voice hoarse. I am here today to reveal a person's true face, his gaze fixed on her. Liu Ruyan, to seize power, you colluded with outsiders to forge evidence and frame me. You don't deserve to be the heir, the crowd gasped. In the corner with a plate of cake, I almost laughed. The final hurrah? Planning to go down with a bomb? Show your PPT. Let's see if your photoshopping has improved. Don't disappoint me. He didn't disappoint. His lawyer projected evidence of her embezzling funds. Liu Chen and Zhao Liwa turned pale. Their trust in him wasn't dead yet. However, she just watched calmly. After his performance, she walked up and took the mic. Mr. Antagonist, I heard everything. Her voice was clear through the speakers. But I also have something to share. She snapped her fingers. The screen switched to a video. It showed the corridor where he gave Director Wang an envelope, promising him a villa. Then his office, plotting to short the stock and plant people. Recordings. Transfer records. Screenshots. The evidence was undeniable. The venue was deathly silent. Everyone looked in horror at the gentleman. No, it's forged, he screamed. Bad acting. Poor lines. Go back to training, I concluded, while eating tiramisu. Security dragged him out under the flashing lights. The farce ended. On the rooftop, the night breeze was cool. Liu Ruyan took off her heels and stood barefoot by the railing. I followed her, yawning, planning to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow and then Dali. Lin Feng. She spoke softly. Yeah? That Coke. She turned, her bright eyes staring at me. It was what you wanted in your heart, right? The lazy expression on my face froze. My head buzzed. All the confusing details connected. Her defense, her kindness, the stake, the cooperation. It wasn't a ghost, it was FCK. That was all I thought. Seeing my petrified expression, her eyes welled up. Since that gala, I could hear your heart, she said with a sobbing but clear voice. I heard you call me a fool, call our family, sweet and naive. I heard you warn me about him and teach me what to do. I'm sorry. Large tears fell. She grabbed my sleeve like a lifeline. I was so stupid before. I ignored everything you did. I'm sorry. I looked at her hand. My mind was a mess. What kind of joke is this? I took down the villain, the script is over, and I want to retire. Now you're giving me this late-blooming deep affection? Is the divorce still happening? My Dali, All my resentment and plans, she knew all along. She just listened to me curse her and silently followed my thoughts to protect this family? Seeing my silence, her heart sank. "Can you give me another chance?" She looked up with humble pleading. "Don't go, okay?" My heart felt squeezed. I wanted to say no, to leave, but looking at her crying face, the rejection was stuck in my throat. Damn it! So annoying! The truth that night was like a key, opening the long sealed door between us. But the room was still a mess, the roles reversed. She began pursuing a man, one who could hear all her clumsy thoughts. One day I was lounging on the sofa, wondering about lunch. She walked over with a tray. On it was a steak, burnt on the edges but raw in the middle. She looked like a student waiting for a grade. My eyelid twitched. "What is this fossil? He's gone, but you inherited his biochemical weapon? 70% burnt, 30% raw. I'll see the afterlife tonight." "Forget it. For her effort, I'll die." I took a bite. It was like swallowing razor blades. "How is it?" she asked. "It's okay. It has a lot of character." Hearing my inner complaint, her face turned red and white. She took the plate back to the kitchen. The next day, it was healthy juice. "Did you juice the lawn?" I chugged it. The taste was indescribable. In the following days, she rejected all social events and focused on taking care of me. I didn't say it, but my body was honest. There was a new pillow, my favorite brand of water was always there, and my tablet was upgraded to the top model. I remained lazy, but inside I was thrilled. Not bad, 5-star service. Think these sugar-coated bullets will work? Dream on, unless she replaces the juice with soda. Hearing my inner mumbles, she pursued me harder. But the peace didn't last. The antagonist used his last resources to spin a vicious web. One afternoon, while I was gaming, I felt a sharp pang of anxiety. I called her. No answer. Phone off. My face darkened. I rushed to an abandoned factory he owned. I remembered it from my past life. Ruyan was tied to a chair. Thugs were on the phone. "Don't worry, young master. Once it's done, he and Lin will disappear." I didn't call the police. No time. I grabbed a steel pipe and slipped through a window. In the fight, I knocked one down but got slashed. Blood soaked my sleeve. Ruyan let out a muffled sound of despair, just as the knife was to strike again. I kicked the man's knee and slammed the hilt into his neck. Silence. I walked to her and ripped off the tape. She threw herself into my arms and cried. Back at the hospital, in the VIP ward, it was my turn in the bed. Her eyes were red. "Why are you so stupid? You could have ignored me!" she choked out. "You wanted to leave. Why did you save me?" I looked at her. My arm stung, but I was calm. "Duh, if I don't save you, who's going to pay for my meals?" I joked internally. But looking at her heartache, the mockery wouldn't come out. I wiped her tears with my uninjured hand. "Because you are my wife, silly." 6 months later, I was discharged. The divorce agreement was gone. At dusk, we walked hand in hand by the river. I looked at the sunset and sighed. My Dolly plan is ruined. One person's solitude became two people's company. Just then, she stopped, squeezed my hand and whispered, "I'll go with you," to Dolly. The sunlight stretched our shadows very, very long.